Hello and welcome to Politics Today. I am Farrukh Pitafi. Viewers, once again we are going to talk about politics of Pakistan, particularly those 2-3 trends that we tried to highlight yesterday. They are being highlighted today as well. One is Jahangir Tareen's forward block, although they are insisting that it should not be called a forward block. And there seems to be two aspects to it. One, at the center, it seems that they can always, or the supporters of Jahangir Tareen can always create some trouble for the federal government, especially because the budget of Pakistan is about to be presented, and there you need all the votes from the treasury benches. But apart from that, in Punjab also it seems that there is a new dynamic which is going on. These members of the party who might have created the forward bloc can seriously bring down the Punjab government. While it was being speculated or discussed in the media, suddenly we heard that Chaudhry Nisar, the former interior minister, also someone who was part of PMLN, and then if you remember he was not given the ticket in the elections, and finally he contested elections on the symbol of Jeep, and it somehow became a dynamic in its own. He never took oath of his office. He never took oath of his seat after 2018 in the Punjab Assembly. Amazingly, he has the kind of concession that most of us won't. And we heard that he is going to take charge. He is going to take oath of office, and after that, perhaps he is going to play some role in the provincial government as well. We are going to talk about all these matters, and of course, then there is the issue of opposition. Mia Shahbaz Sharif, the head of PMLN, keeps on implying that he has to go out, but he today spoke to the media and he said that we are accused of asking for some kind of deal or some kind of agreement. We are not asking for anything. Why are you accusing us of that? Prime Minister of Pakistan also spoke today, and there he said that once again he said that all these mafias want to bring down the government, and the only purpose is they want to have deals or concessions, and he is not ready to do that. We are going to talk about all these matters and more in today's show. We are joined by Waqas Naseem Saab, who is leader Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf. Thank you very much, sir, for being part of the program. Also, Arif Chaudhry Saab joins us as a legal expert on Skype. Thank you very much, sir, for being part of the program. We are awaiting a third guest who seems to be trapped in traffic. The moment they come here, I'm going to introduce them as well. Waqas Naseem Saab, I have to start with you. Why does your party and your party leadership open so many fronts that in the end, it seems that your own party's structural integrity or your own stay in power is also in doubt?
Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum, Pitafi. Let yourself be assured that PTI is here to stay.
Okay.
Since PTI came into existence, we were told that this is a Tanga party.
Okay.
It will never get to power.
Okay.
It is a party with people with no electables in that party. It was told that this party does not have roots in the people.
It was a party which did not have electables. Now it does.
It does.
It was a party whose leader won only one seat in 2002. Today, it might be a different story.
And we surmounted all the odds that were put before us.
Okay.
We were able to make our way through the most difficult of times. I remember that dharna we had in front of the Prime Minister House 123 days, sir. And every day we were told that next day people will not come.
Okay.
And Khan alone used to come in the afternoon on the container, and in the evening the entire podium was filled with people. Now yet again, sir,
yeah, but my point was different. Yes, your party was a single MNA party.
True.
And your party didn't have electables. Then you started accepting electables, and you came to power. And now the very same electables want their pound of flesh.
Let me tell you the names of electables we accepted.
Jahangir Tareen.
Murad Saeed, Faisal Javed,
By goodness.
Shahram Tarkai,
Okay.
Ajmal Wazir,
Jahangir
Atif
Tareen.
Khan,
Jahangir Tareen.
Hamad Azhar,
Jahangir
Saifullah Niazi.
Okay.
These are the people, 30% to 40% new people were inculcated in this assembly by Imran Khan.
Right.
Sir, give the person his due,
Yeah.
that he worked hard and he
You
tried.
can call him angel, give the angel his due. But hang on, with due respect, the point is that you still have a razor-thin majority in both the houses.
Okay.
One, the National Assembly. One, in Punjab Assembly, that is even narrower, the margin. And yet, the people we are talking about, Jahangir Tareen is an electable. He brought many people to your party.
True.
And now his faction is revolting. And there's a possibility that they might try to bring your Punjab government down very quickly.
Farrukh bhai, you use the word razor thin majority in Punjab Assembly and in the National Assembly. These are the part and parcel of Westminster democracy. This
Okay.
happens, okay? We have a slim majority, and let me assure you on behalf of Imran Khan, I have never met him, I have not talked to him, but I can tell you...
Never met him.
I have met him obviously, but not recently. But I'm not speaking for my captain, but I can let you know if there is a problem, we can again go to the electorate and get a fresh electorate.
Okay.
Let this be a very, very clear message to everybody.
Yeah.
The one who commands the loyalty, respect, confidence and obedience of the party cadre, of the office bearers, of the parliamentary group, of the federal cabinet and of 250 million Pakistanis is Imran Khan.
Right.
Now about Tareen Sahab, just 30 seconds.
I have to go to the other guest as well, but you
Just,
get
I'll
30
just,
seconds.
Tareen Sahab, I joined PTI because of Tareen Sahab. My late father was brought into PTI by Tareen Sahab.
Okay.
But now my leader is Khan. The buck stops at him.
Okay.
Tareen Sahab has been doing politics for a very long time, sir.
Mhm.
He never gained the amount of respect, honor, dignity and prominence that he gained by joining Khan Sahab and by siding with Khan Sahab.
Okay.
Now I take the man, he's a very humble, docile, upright person. I take the man on his words that I am a part of PTI.
Okay.
I might have differences, but Khan is my leader. Let's take the man on his words. Sir.
All right, and then I come back to you. I want to understand why are so many people
Sir.
actually behaving like Fidain, who come on television and say that without Jahangir Tareen, they are ready to quit and bring down the government. Let me first bring in Arif Chaudhry Sahab. Arif Chaudhry Sahab, there are many cases which are being discussed. At this moment, Jahangir Tareen's case is one. Then there's a ring road issue that has been going on. And finally, we saw that the government is planning to relitigate Hudaybiyah Papers Mill case as well. And simultaneously, it is quite clear that Jahangir Tareen's supporters in the parliament, in the provincial assembly also, are threatening to bring down or create a kind of situation for the government. Do you think that this system will always depend on compromises to move forward, and people will keep on blackmailing their leaders?
Thank you very much, Pitafi Sahab. It is not for the first time that, we all, when you put a question to PTI gentlemen, they always say, let me assure you, don't worry, nothing is going to happen. Sometimes I feel as it is only Mr. Pitafi who is really scared of being de-seated and, getting out of power and not the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf. As a matter of fact, there is no doubt that, it was, a party which didn't have majority. It was a party which was not very popular amongst the people, and then they gained popularity. They came into power. That is beside the point. But now we have to travel, further. And now it is, the time when we have to think about the new ground realities which are facing and which Tehreek-e-Insaf is facing. And the developments are rampant, and on every day we see, things happening, because prior in time we saw that, the Jahangir Tareen, he had his reservations, but no such thing happened as, it emerged, his group, he came out with a group of almost, I would call it dissenters, are those, who had their own point of view, and their point of view was that they were siding with Jahangir Tareen, no matter whatever the cases may be. But this, you think that, Jahangir Tareen is a victim. And this is, a story of every victim, who is an accused of corruption, irrespective of his political position, whether he is in the government or he is out of the government. Everyone is a victim because, I don't know what they are victim for. But as far as the situation is concerned, there is no doubt that if all these gentlemen who came to Khan Sahib through Jahangir Tareen, particularly those who have been elected and they are, in Punjab Assembly and they are in the National Assembly, if they have got together and they have shown their faces openly as a group, they are out and out for something, and that is the concessions for Mr. Tareen. And concession with respect to his cases, which are, already, in being investigated and, with FIA.
Right.
And I don't think that anyone, including the Prime Minister, is in a position to give them any extraordinary favor. And, let us give a credit to the Prime Minister. If he loses his government at this point in time, due to this reason that, he didn't, give any concession to the persons even who were very close to him, and he, forgot about everything, about the consequences, I think he will be a man whom we all will respect and nation will remember.
Yeah,
That is,
respect is good, sir. But with due respect, politics is a different story. In politics, you try to stay in power. And the point is that at this moment, while these might be principled issues, we know that our politics depends on 2-3 very big things. One, Baradari system. And there, these principles might not have that kind of traction. Second, money. And we know that Jahangir Tareen Sahib, if you think about him, the first thing that comes to mind is that he is very affluent. And such an affluent person can always influence people. So in that situation, do you honestly think that fight or flight or going down for your principles is an idea that might be prudent in politics?
Yeah, of course, it is prudent in politics and that's involved. And that's what we have been seeing throughout, where people are always budging before those who are powerful and, those who can turn the tables. And if anybody, is in such a commanding position in parliament that he can bring your government down, naturally you have to come to that reality and you have to compromise if you really want to stay in power. And that's happening because, even till today, I think, I have not seen anybody who came with this agenda and he succeeded. Almost everybody, had this agenda irrespective of his own background, although Mr. Khan has a different background. He is rather with impeccable record and, is a different person. But even those who were not with such a clean record, their agenda was also anti-corruption, corruption mukau. They also were, having those slogans. But once, they tried to do anything, to eradicate this country from power, this corruption, they were in deep trouble. And, and deep trouble is that, those who are influential, they are now such powerful people that, the courts, the entire system is in their hands. And you cannot run away and you cannot escape from this reality of the, of our politics and our, ways of governance. Yeah.
Right,
So I think,
while you talk about all these matters, one thing actually comes to mind. Democracies usually are supposed to evolve. And after 70 years, it seems that politicians, rich guys, can always get away with whatever they want. Right now, Waqas Naseem Saab, you were praising. First, you always praise your own leader. And
logically.
Yeah, of course. But then you also praise the man who brought your father into party, Jahangir Tareen. But here's the question. Why do you think so many people are actually behaving as if they are automatons being controlled by another man? They're not asking for anything for themselves. they keep on voicing that Jahangir Tareen is more important. Is it true that if you are rich, you can have so many MNAs or MPAs in your pocket?
Pitafi Saab, you used the word prudent with Arif Chaudhry Saab. That was very well. Is it prudent to be so fixated and not being flexible? I don't know if it's prudent or not, but it is righteous. Okay, and if Khan is given a choice between peace and righteousness, he will choose righteousness. He showed that in Balakot. That if war is imposed, the alternative.
But both are not comparative.
Not comparative, but it is how Khan makes decisions.
No,
he was willing
I
to take up.
understand, but you're talking, Balakot was India, a hostile power. You're talking about your own country, your own people.
Open people.
And if you are only going to focus on the short game and forget about the long game, you might not be able to bring about the changes that you want to bring to the system. Today, when Prime Minister was talking about, he talked about health card, he talked about a curriculum reform, he talked about agricultural cards, and umpteen other things, right? These are projects which he has promised to the people, and he wants to deliver. If tomorrow you lose power, you won't have the kind of levers to actually give people this kind of relief.
Farrukh, by principles don't mean anything until applying themselves on yourself does not cause you discomfort. Principles are not made for others. Now Khan has taken a principled stand that corruption will not stand in my government. If somebody has done corruption, may it be Farrukh Pitafi or Waqas Naseem, he is going to hold them accountable. Now that is a good thing. Now if somebody, as you have pointed out twice in your program, that certain people are coming blatantly forward and saying that Tareen Saab should be given a passage, or probably he is being victimized, or probably he is wrongly accused of things. That's what people are saying. So let me get this correct, that they have no political disagreement with Khan Saab, his governance. They have no political disagreement with how he is handling the 250 million Pakistanis, how he is bringing shelter homes, how he is giving Asas program, how is he giving universal health care, 10 lakh rupees, 1 million to free health care to every Pakistani. Now these people might be saying things about an individual.
And I'm going to actually, although I have to observe that in your Josh Khitabat, you know, added tens of millions of Pakistanis to the population who are not there. Pakistan's total population at this moment is 216, not 40 or 50 million. Right? But I'm told that we are joined by Javed Sadiq Saab, who is a senior journalist who was awaited here, but who is actually trapped in traffic. So he's going to join us via telephone. Javed Sadiq Saab, thank you very much, sir, for being part of the program.
Yes, I am talking to you.
Right. Javed sir, let me ask you, what is to become of Jahangir Tareen's politics in Pakistan?
Well, Jahangir Tareen is a challenge for the PTI and the Prime Minister, and it is a challenge from within the party. And I think this challenge was building up for quite some time, because when the probe started against this sugar scam, and Jahangir Tareen's name came up, and it was on the top of the list of those people who were to be probed and who were accused of, some kind of wrongdoing in the whole process of sugar production, its distribution, price fixing, and all these kind of things, and then above all, receiving subsidy from the government. So his name was there, and as everybody knows, he's a big sugar baron, and he is considered to be one of the top characters of the people who are responsible for the sugar shortages from time to time, and raising the price and manipulating the price. So he was hit hard by the investigations which were carried out against him, and now he has fired back, he has hit back, and
Right.
he has been able to create group both in the Punjab Assembly and in the National Assembly. So this is a dissident group within PTI. It's a challenge. Although Mr. Treen has recently said that he's not going to damage the party and he's still within the party, within the fold of the PTI. But obviously, he has sent a strong message to the Prime Minister that probe against him has to be stopped or something has to be done. And I think the Prime Minister is really in a fix as far as JKT
Right.
is concerned.
And Javed Sadiq sir, my question was about that fix. What happens now? I understand that he has substantive number of supporters in both houses, in the National Assembly as well as Provincial Assembly. But what exactly is going to happen? He might say that he is not going to bring down the government, but his own supporters keep on saying, especially the people who are parliamentarians, they keep on saying that all options are there and we can do whatever we want.
Yeah, the parliamentarians with him are also, not willing to or not ready to rebel against the leadership of the party at this critical juncture. But
Really?
I think, yes, go ahead,
Sir,
please.
yesterday and day before yesterday, if you have seen talk shows, most of the MPAs and a couple of MNAs, when they came on television, they were using very angry and threatening language that they can do whatever they want to.
Well, but what I know of the meetings that have taken place, some of the MPAs belonging to the JKT group in parliamentary group in Punjab Assembly, they had a meeting with the Punjab Chief Minister and they expressed reservations about their constituencies and how they were how the funds were not being given to them, and why they are not being given to them, and other grievances which they shared with the Chief Minister. Similarly, the people who are the members of the National Assembly who have joined this dissident group of the PTI, also not in a mood to rebel, but obviously they have given a strong message to the party leadership that what is happening to JKT is not bearable and they will not be able to countenance this kind of conduct and behavior with Jagir Khan Farid, who was one of the founding members of PTI and who played a very key role in coupling together
Jangir
the
Tareen,
ruling.
sir, with due respect, sir, Jangir Tareen was a founding member. I remember when PTI was formed, at that time Jangir Tareen sir was in Muslim League.
No, but when actually PTI was being built up and in October
Okay, 2011. Yeah.
The Lahore meeting
Yes.
and following that meeting, Jagir Khan Treen played a very important role in building and catapulting the PTI to the higher level of political game in Pakistan. So
Right.
that was his role. Also, I
Right.
think during the elections, he played a very important role in bringing the electables to the fold of the PTI. That was his very important role that he played. Secondly,
Right.
I think Jagir Khan Treen also cobbled together a ruling coalition, the PMLQ and other groups which are now part of PTI and the government. Jagir Khan Treen played a very significant role in bringing these parties to the fold of the PTI. So he played a very important role. And now
while you are saying, sir, Javed sir, while you are saying that he played very crucial role, let me actually bring out a nuance, which is very important, that his jet actually played a big role. His aeroplane actually played a big role because he used to ferry people on that. Let me go to Arish Chaudhry Sahab. Arish Chaudhry Sahab, I have two kids. And these kids are usually very informed, and one is 14, one is 16, and when we sit together and when we talk politics and news is playing in front of us, there are moments when I have to actually explain a lot. And this seems to be happening now in the JKT case as well, because it seems that so many people against their own party are speaking so loudly and in support of someone who is A, accused of financial corruption, B, who is also not very influential essentially of his bearer of the party. So it seems that so many MNAs and MPAs are in the pocket of someone who is moneyed or rich. Do you think that this is a state of affairs that can be tolerated in the country?
I think that, that is something imperative, and that, we have to tolerate all this. And, while, Javed Sadiq Saab was talking about, the claim that these guys, who have got together, in a group, within the party, they don't really intend to, rebel against Khan or, the ruling regime at the moment. I think they are playing a very wise strategy, and that is not a strategy which is unique. It is a very common strategy of every group, which really I can safely use the word blackmailing or putting pressure on to get some gain, out of box. And that's the way it is. First of all, you form a group and you say, sir, we are very sincere to you. And we don't really want this government to go down because, we are the one who were mainly responsible to bring this government into power. And, these are the days which we really, it may be a nightmare for us that, if, any bad days come for this government. But on the other hand, they keep the pressure on. And one thing we shouldn't forget, that these gentlemen who are elected, should they go to the constituency with this thing that, they rebelled against their, government and against their party only for Jahangir Tareen? No. They have to create a mantra. They have to make a slogan. And that's why they are saying that, sir, we have our complaints. And those complaints are with respect to non-providing of funds, development funds, and not looking after our constituency.
Right.
So
Chowdhury Sahab, if you have noticed, most of these leaders, whenever Jahangir Tareen Saab used to appear before FIA or accountability bodies, at that time these MNAs, MPAs used to tag along, and there they would speak to the media. And initially their complaints were not about their own constituency, but their loyalty to Jahangir Tareen and how great a person he is and how he is being victimized. And that, if you remember, there are other examples also. For example, there is a very rich man, a property developer, and sometimes it seems that an entire party is being controlled by the man, right? So I am asking you, at this moment when you look at all this that is going on, is it not true that if you are moneyed, you can have MNAs and MPAs from whichever party you like in your pocket?
Yes. The answer is very big yes. Because,
and what is the cure, sir?
Cure doesn't seem to be. Doesn't seem to be. One who says Imran Khan, I really don't tend to agree with that. The reason is that...
I'm going to come to him, I'm going to ask him how.
This sort of rampant corruption in society and, all institutions being corrupted so much, that, you cannot name one, institution which you can be proud of. Unfortunately, even the top, institution which controls the entire system, you cannot, talk very high about that. And, we are suffering and facing every day. Some people have courage to call a spade, and some people have their vested interest, or if not vested interest, at least, they are very compromising or very,
Right.
innocent people who really don't want to create fuss for themselves
Right.
or for others. But the fact of the matter is that this is the reality of the day. We are, playing in the hands, our society is being played in the hands of those who are rich and who are influential. This politics of this democracy in Pakistan, I think, it is being controlled by moneyed people. They really want, whenever they want to call shots, they can call, and, all others have to follow. And,
Right.
some people
Arif
in
Shadi
media
sir,
are
because
such-
you are also a legal expert, let me ask some rapid fire questions, and let me ask you if you can very quickly reply to all of them. One, do you think that what we are seeing amounts to political blackmail?
Yes.
Sir, now, is there a difference between, legally speaking, between political blackmail and usual blackmail?
Yeah, I think, these two words are not very synonymous. They are going for, quite parallel to each other. But
Okay.
the fact remains as such that, blackmailing is blackmailing. If you are a politician,
Right.
politician,
And sir,
and
what
you have
does
to
the
come
law
to
say?
case,
As per Pakistan's law, is blackmail a crime?
the word blackmail doesn't figure, I think, in the criminology, until and
CRPC or PPC?
then they have to be, you have to segmentize it, blackmailing. If it comes to changing your loyalties with the parties, then there is a system which works,
No, hang on. I'm talking about usual corruption, right, sir? If somebody is extorting you by blackmailing you, is it a crime or not?
It is crime.
It is a crime.
Extortion
So,
money, and, and
what does the law say about that, sir? What is
law
the
says
punishment?
that, if that person is, is elected person, he has to lose his seat according to, Article 62, 63. And if there is a, corruption against him, and cases are to be investigated, and then cases are to be tried, and this guy has to be
Right.
punished
Right.
according to the quantum of, corruption he has done. And,
Right.
the amount of money he has ripped off the country, the society. He has to face those consequences. And that is the reason, main reason, that these people are so powerful and they are so active. And they have got their jaws so strong in the
Right.
society that those elected people who have to actually stand up
Right.
on
Right,
the
sir.
righteous path.
I
And,
want to
as
actually
far
go
as-
to Bakasab
Yeah.
again and ask him about the claim he made. Imran Hansab is going to solve that detail, right? And I believe that there are countless people in this country who actually have that faith. But this is happening in his own party, where your own majority is being threatened by people that you used to consider big leaders of your party. So what is happening?
Farrukh bhai, you have to make me understand. Probably I'm lacking the understanding for this. What are we debating? Freedom of expression in a party, or should we have a totalitarianism, absolutism,
If I'm correct-
dictatorship?
hang on.
Sir, let me beg.
No. You asked me a question.
Sir.
Let me qualify.
Please.
I'm a member of your party, and then there is a case opened on me.
Okay.
And there is a report, prima facie, which actually establishes that I am corrupt and I have to face the consequences.
Okay.
And then I start blackmailing you, that I will bring down your party, I will bring down
Sir,
your
you
government.
have to give me time. There is nothing of the sort. This is just a storm in a teacup. There
No,
is
hang on,
nothing
hang on.
happening.
Have you been watching television?
Sir, I have been watching PTI. Since day one, there has
No,
been
I'm
one
not
issue,
talking-
Jewish financing. We have been told, international, we have been told that we are doing everything. We are a Tanga party. We will not have electables. We do not have
I'm not talking
understanding.
about that. I'm talking about a house
Okay.
where you have a hung parliament,
Okay.
where you have a very small majority, and there the number or the sum of people who, if they shift your party can come down.
Okay.
They have formed their forward bloc,
Okay.
and they're demanding relief from legal system
Okay.
for one man who is very rich.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
you-
what has
you're
that
calling-
one man said?
Regardless, his supporters are saying
Sir,
that one man is
let's-
not sitting in the parliament.
That one man has
supporters
said
are.
that one man has been doing politics before Imran Khan. He gained prominence because of Khan Saab's association.
Okay.
He never had this much this much prominence, this much stature, despite his money.
Okay. What is
And
the point of creating a forward bloc in our party?
so there is nothing. They are just saying that they feel probably in their mind,
Okay.
whichever individuals they are misguided, but in their mind they have the democratic right to support somebody.
Okay.
They are not.
Usually-
They are not going
Hang on,
against Imran Khan.
Okay.
They are just saying that they are in support of somebody, and that is the
And
democratic.
Raja Riaz is
Okay.
nominated
Okay.
as a parliamentary leader
Okay.
in the National Assembly.
They,
How can that be?
sir,
Your
have
party has a parliamentary leader.
you heard what Fawad Chaudhry Saab said
No.
day before yesterday in
No, no,
National
but-
Assembly? That was one word. This is
No,
going
no,
to blow away.
Hang on. I can understand if you have undying faith
Okay.
in your party's destiny. I'm not going to question if you have undying faith in Jahangir Tareen Saab's wisdom as well. All I'm saying is, don't actually try to make the case less serious because you just don't want to see it. They're threatening you.
Let me say I have an undying faith in a third thing.
Yeah.
Unified chain of command in PTI which stops at Imran Khan.
Okay.
All of these MPs, like last time they went for the first time in front of NAP court, they went with Khan Saab, they had a sit down over a cup of tea, came out of the press conference, and what did they say? We are unified, so this is nothing unique.
So why create a forward bloc?
Sir,
Why call it-
these are the hallmarks of developing democracy. We have
No,
just
it
had,
doesn't,
sir,
no.
in 10 years,
You're-
since the last martial law,
You're comparing it with a caucus. I'm told that we have to go to Javed Sadiq Saab. I thought that he has left because I heard the line dropping. But Javed Sadiq Saab, are you with us, sir?
Yes, I am with you.
Okay, sir. My apologies for presuming that you have left. But let me ask you about another development that all of a sudden, appeared out of nowhere. And I'm talking about Chaudhry Nisar Saab's decision to take oath of office as an MPA. Why do you think that happens every time, or we hear about it, the possibility whenever there is political strife in the country? And what legal system allows an MPA 3 years to take oath of office?
Well, I think Chaudhry Nisar is an experienced politician, and he has not taken oath of his provincial assembly seat ever since he was elected to the provincial assembly. He was marking the time, and probably he thought, that's my own assessment, he thought that he might rejoin his old party, the PMLN. But I think the top echelon of the PMLN, particularly Nawaz Sharif and his daughter Maryam Nawaz, they are not ready to accept Chaudhry Nisar back into the fold of PMLN.
Right.
But the younger brother, the former Chief Minister Shahbaz Sharif, is really ready to deal with him, and he is ready to have him back in the party fold. And when Nawaz Sharif fell out with the establishment, particularly the army leadership, in those days, if you remember, Chaudhry Nisar was urging the PMLN leadership, Nawaz Sharif and his daughter Maryam Nawaz, the hardliners, not to basically burn the boats and have some kind of working relationship with the establishment of the army,
Right.
so that his government could continue. But
Javed Sadiq
Nawaz
Sahab,
Sharif
I
knows,
understand what you're saying, and I understand that you're telling us what Chaudhry Nisar Saab might be thinking at this moment. Now tell me, what was the Election Commission of Pakistan thinking, allowing a person not to take oath of office and not de-seating him for 3 years?
well, this is a question being debated in the legal and political circles, whether a person who has not taken oath for 3 years is capable of remaining the member of the Provincial Assembly or not. And no clear answer has been given. And I think the Election Commission has to come out with this the answer to this question. For 3 long years, he has not gone to the Assembly and not taken oath whether he still remains or retains the seat or not, or he is qualified to be a member of the Provincial Assembly or not. But at this time, his decision, or maybe it is a rumor, some of these circles close to Chaudhry Nisar Ali, they say he is not going to take the oath of the seat of the Provincial Assembly, but there are rumors that he is going to do that because Shehbaz Sharif is urging him, a close friend and close political associate of Nisar Ali Khan, that he should come into the Provincial Assembly. And now this is also, there are also rumors in the political circles that Mr. Buzdar, the Chief Minister of Punjab, is in danger. I mean, there are the efforts being made by the opposition and some of the PTI members themselves to dislodge him and replace him with some.
Regarding the Chief Minister of Punjab, we have been hearing these speculations since day one. But since you actually pointed out the bit about Election Commission, let me very quickly ask Arif Chaudhry Saab also. I am told that we are left with a few minutes. Arif Chaudhry Saab, why do you think that the Election Commission has allowed somebody to remain an MPA without taking oath of office for 2.5 years?
That's what speaks about the collapse of the institutions. There are 2 instances. One is that of Mr. Dar, who is the senator, and he is an absconder, declared absconder. He has not taken the oath of his office in the Senate. And the other example is that of Chaudhry Nisar. And I think these people are above law. And those who are sitting in the power corridors, and those who they didn't even agitate. None of them even went to take on these guys against their inaction towards taking the oath. And nobody is bothered about that.
Arif Chaudhry Saab, I'm told that we have to conclude the program here. Arif Chaudhry Saab, thank you very much for your precious time. David Siddique Saab, thank you very much. Although you couldn't make it to the studios, thank you very much for your precious time you took out for joining us on telephone. Waqas Naseem Saab, thank you very much, sir, as well. Regardless of everything else that is going to happen in coming days, one thing that was stated by the Prime Minister of Pakistan today while he was inaugurating a road, he just pointed out that his entire struggle has been about fighting the double standards of justice in this country. And we just gave you 2 big examples. One example, if you are rich, even if you are not a many, even if you cannot hold public office, you can have influentials in your pocket who can actually betray their own party's concerns or its own interests just for you. The second one is a very influential politician who hasn't somehow taken oath of office. And he is likely, and he can, whenever he wants to, take oath without seeking a fresh mandate. So there has to be, at least when PM was talking about these things, I knew what he was talking about. Throughout our history, throughout our lives, we have experienced such